People, how are you doing? My name is Glenn, and I make content and videos for people who are going through the path, the spiritual path, and coming up against obstacles right now. So, what was put on my heart today was the ancestral body and template and genetic path cutting. We're diving into one of the most profound metaphysical structures within our auric field, the ancestral body template. This is where all ancestral karma is stored as memories, DNA strands, and subconscious archetypes and elements. For light workers, this template is not just an imprint of the past, it is a blueprint for transformation. Those who incarnate as genetic path cutters hold a specific mission to resolve generational distortions, cut toxic DNA strands, and activate what we call the Christed DNA. And don't worry, we're not going to go to some religious space about the Christ. The Christ that we understand is the crystalline architecture of the heavenly realms and of this realm as well. The crystalline, they say heaven is paved in gold. So the ancestral body template is an energetic matrix, a metaphysical body. We have the physical body, emotional body, spiritual body, mental body. Those are the four main ones. And we have an ancestral body that carries with it what's in our blood, what's in our physical vehicle. It's an energetic matrix that holds the entire karmic history of our lineage. Every action, trauma, belief system from our ancestors is encoded within us and within this templated body. Not just as subconscious patterns, but as literal genetic imprints in our DNA. This is why so many of us feel the weight. This is why so many of us feel the weight of generational pain, even if we don't consciously remember its origins. So, if you're a light worker and feel deeply burdened by the cycles of suffering, limitation, or dysfunction, you may be genetically path cutting for your lineage. It means your soul has agreed to incarnate into a bloodline carrying specific distortions, patterns of trauma, addiction, victimhood, or spiritual disconnection, or being forsaken. These distortions are embedded within your DNA and they influence your life experiences, often manifesting as inherited struggles or repeating hardships. So in my experience, my ancestral body was tied to various wars that happened. They say it's 7 generations in the past, 7 in the future, and 7 in the 777 creator code. But I think it's more than that. And I think a big time ago, my ancestors were engaged in some kind of battle and their blood spilled. And what we know about the archons is that they design these wars up above in the heavenly cosmic places, and their blood, spilt blood, is always a big, you could call it a sankara, a big unit of energy that needs to be transformed, resolved, first of all, held, purified, understood, and then transformed and made new and made resolved, So these distortions and these units of consciousness, I don't know how to get this. Here's your body. Here's the ancestral body. It's a body around the body. So your real body's in here, right there, and it's part of your auric field. And these things here attach onto the physical body through various means, and they can be felt as cords. So these cords, and these elements that you're seeing there have an energetic charge, and they're units of consciousness. Sometimes they can be literal, dead people, dead entities, your ancestors, or sometimes they can just be the energetic quality of what happened in those timelines. And oftentimes a demonic entity will latch itself on to that ancestral burden because it's It's a part of you. It's a part of you. They're fragmented aspects of consciousness within the astral body, and there might be, an entity that is siphoning and using this energy. Oh, I didn't even see it right here. Oh my God, this is so awkward. But we see an entity could be siphoning this. This entity could be a trickster entity and be playing tricks. This could be one of your, like an aunt. This could be your great, 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 great grandfather hanging out, And unfortunate for me, it's been made clear a few times when I talk to my team up in the spirit that a lot of us are a lot of indigos, a lot of star seeds, indigos, genetic path cutters, light workers, signed up to be incarnated in bloodlines, and this is gonna rock the boat a bit, but we signed up to be incarnate in certain bloodlines that were extremely distorted. And I'm talking about like I believe my grandpa, I don't know yet, I believe someone in my ancestry, I know there was witchcraft, I know there was black magic, and I know there was one of my ancestors who was involved in the Freemason group, and so I don't exactly know. I resonate with the idea that my bloodline is very heavy and might have been involved in some Illuminati power elite archontic thing. And you can see just how exhausted this is making me. I've been fighting my ancestors in the spiritual for a long time. And when someone is disembodied and they carry the karmic load of engaging in black magic, they often end up in a different dimension. They may have made a contract with an entity to go to a realm, to be to live forever in the spirit. So we have the earth plane, we have the spiritual plane, we have the heavenly realms, and then we have the first and second realms, heavenly realms, and then it goes down from that, the levels of hell, which are very real places. Don't worry, you're not going there. Don't worry. But some of these souls can be stuck in purgatory, and they're around you and in your field. So these energies, oh my God. So these energies, I don't know where my other, these entities here, if we could just remove these entities, very, very easily, we can remove them. Sometimes they cling on, but if we could just remove these entities and then bring in the violet flame or the blue flame or whatever source consciousness energy from way up here, here's source, and just have it flood over everything here. And then when they're basked in light, we destroy this is really going to upset some people, but we need to destroy the contracts. Here's a contract. This one has a contract. It has an agreement with, the adversary over spilt blood. Say this one was a war. This was some kind of war. Some kind of war here. Their blood is tied into the earth, and you need to release these contracts. They're called blood covenants, and you can make them. If my aunt was a witch over here and she did some blood magic, there's another contract that we need to rip up. And sometimes these contracts are very, very, very sneaky and very, very, very hidden, that it takes a lot of meditation, a lot of honing in on your psychic abilities, a lot of honing in on your spiritual gifts seeing, I know there's going to be some seers out there, and going in and targeting these things, we can talk about where these contracts are, Akashic auditing and using the Akashic records is probably the number one way to do it and the most safe way to do it, because when you disrupt these contracts, the beings that are behind the veil, demons is not the right word, the infected consciousness of the Ahrimanic culture, who is the devil. Ahriman is the devil in Zoroastrianism, I believe. But they're very Ahrimanic. They will get very upset. And so I did this pretty early in my spiritual journey. I found myself a part of a advanced light working community that talked all about this. And they had a warning. They said, once you open this door to this world, there's no going back. You have to fully commit to it. And I believe it was in my sole purpose to understand these things and communicate them in a clear, concise, and coherent way, So if you're feeling down, if you're stuck in cycles of suffering, cycles of addiction, any kind of thing, it could be an ancestral entity, an ancestral curse, an ancestral spirit that needs to be challenged, held with love, and rehabilitated back to the original pre-fall consciousness. And that's, the fall of humanity, before, and that's why, no, I won't get into that. Okay, thank you. And I'm just waiting to see if there's any messages that want to come through for any of our listeners. Okay, cool. We don't have any messages, and I hope that one day I'll be a pure and open channel for the divine source, for Holy Mother, Holy Father, Holy Christos, Sophia, Holy Son, Holy Daughter, the whole family of the Christ and of the light. So what does it mean to be a genetic path cutter? It means you have the ability and responsibility to rewrite the energetic coding of your lineage. This involves three major processes. Number one, recognizing and acknowledging the distortions, becoming aware of the repeated cycles that stem from ancestral programming, such as patterns of scarcity, big one, self-sabotage or unworthiness, or even overly being worshiping idols, worshiping false gods, and worshiping worshiping like a higher, they how do I explain this? You know what? I'm not going to explain that in this video. That's a whole nother topic. Number two, cutting toxic DNA strands. This isn't about physically altering DNA, but rather removing the energetic distortions around the DNA, because our DNA is everything that we are. It's this wall. It's everything. It's got a DNA strand. Techniques such as Akashic auditing, which is something I'm developing, meditation, and vibrational energetic healing can assist in dissolving negative imprints. Activating the Christed DNA. Number three, the final step is to replace the distortions with higher frequency codes, light codes. The Christed DNA is the divine, uncorrupted template of light that restores our true spiritual sovereignty and freedom, and it holds the codes for higher awareness, divine love, and full spectrum healing. That's what we want. We want to be in our sovereignty. We don't want to be bowing down before any gods, even though I have done it and they have helped for sure. But it's you, it's me, that has to take care of business here. Okay, so if you found this video, you are a genetic path cutter and a light worker. And I'm not even going to call it a light work anymore. I'm going to call it spirit working, because we work in the shadows and in the light. Some of our greatest gifts are concealed in the darkness, and some of our soul. I consider myself an old and very dark soul. It's it's gloom and doom in my heart all the time, and it's so exhausting because I'm focusing on the past, you know, and I'm focusing on my ancestors. But if you feel this way, I really want to create a community that comes together over our shared mission, our shared indigo mission, our shared indigo contracts, and look at it in a real pragmatic and grounded reality of, you know, completing, I can touch my hands here, of completing the mission and redeeming ultimately your bloodline. That's what we got to do. The process of clearing ancestral karma. I will go into sanskaras another day because that's related. Sanskaras are very, very important to understand on the path. And yeah, should I go into that? No. Okay, healing the ancestral body template requires deep inner work. It's actually called templating. So you're re-templating the template of the body that's superimposed on you. Here are a few methods that can facilitate the process. Akashic auditing, accessing the records of the soul's history to identify and clear karmic contracts, and also to identify and clear ancestral contracts. Energetic healing and DNA repair. Modalities like Reiki, quantum healing, or sound frequencies help dissolve distortions. I used to believe Reiki was a hijack. I don't know anymore, but there is definitely a thing as energy medicine. And through my transmission of source, through the video to you, you will be receiving energetic medicine as you understand, as your mind understands what's going on and what your mission is. Intentional commanding and light code activation, using affirmations and sacred sound to reprogram DNA and align with the Christed blueprint. Spirit, I'm going to be making all kinds of meditations around all this stuff to help the community improve. Spiritual discernment, learning to recognize false karmic obligations and rejecting distortions so that do not belong to your soul's path. False karmic obligations. Oh, I must worship Jesus. I have to worship Krishna. I love worshiping them, but we're not obligated to give up ourselves to something higher because we are that higher self. We are that divine love, you know, and we're children of that. But yeah. I'm going to close this with a prayer. Okay. Let us affirm a powerful prayer to activate the light within and equip you for the sacred work. Divine source of all creation, Holy Mother, Holy Father, Creator. I call upon the highest light, the infinite wisdom, and the love that flows through all things. I now stand as a vessel of healing and transformation, ready to release all distortions held within my ancestral lineage. May all falsehoods, traumas, and limiting beliefs dissolve into the pure radiance of divine truth. I activate within me the Christed DNA, the divine template of sovereignty, clarity, and love. I let every cell, every strand of my being resonate with the harmony of my highest essence. I walk forward with confidence, courage, and deep knowing that I am free and my liberation and my lineage is healed. So it is, and so it shall be. And if you resonate with that prayer, go back and listen to it again and just say, Lord, I pray this over my life. Or you can repeat after me. So, welcome to, goodbye. Take care.